And what it sounds like is that she's not interested in being a part of a team. She just wants to own it all.
Scarlett Johansson wasn't the only one victim to Blake Lively.
She had a special talent for making directors believe that every decision was theirs, even when she was the one guiding them. Like when she convinced them to remove some of my strongest scenes. These aren't just empty accusations. They come straight from a well-known actress who worked with Blake Lively on several big projects. Today, more and more actors are starting to speak out. They claim Blake has followed a pattern throughout her career, one that always puts her at the center of attention. According to these stars, she knows how to charm people behind the scenes while quietly shifting things in her favor. They say, she often ends up with the best dialogue, the most flattering camera shots, and the biggest moments in every film, but it's not just about what happens on camera. Her critics say she's mastered the art of appearing kind and innocent in public, while playing a much different game behind the scenes. These strategies, they argue, have helped her rise quickly in Hollywood, often at the expense of others. While Blake remains silent on these claims, the growing number of voices raising concerns has left many wondering how far someone will go to stay in the spotlight.
And why was Blake being so flirty with the married man? It takes two to tango, and it's easy to blame Ben, which you can, and clearly Jennifer did. They got divorced. They split up, but Blake, what were you doing there? What's going on? And that wasn't the only thing that Jennifer Garner did. Here is a video that we have here from the set of Deadpool Wolverine as I load this up. This was just a weird little moment that she did. It was a cool TikTok, actually, to be fair. When she was there playing Elektra. And at this point, around 29 seconds, I gotta be careful. She comes, I don't want to play the music. Oh, hey, look, it's Blake Lively. This is where I commune with Blake Lively, she said to this witch statue. Now, that's actually Elizabeth Olsen. Look, you're looking good, Blake Lively. But given the history of Blake Lively, this is where I commune with Blake. Why would she have said that? Doesn't really look like Blake Lively. Granted, Jennifer Garner probably doesn't know her nerdy stuff. Maybe she thought it was Mira from Aquaman, which would have been Amber Heard. Sorry, it was my slip. But it doesn't look like Blake Lively at all. It looks like a witch, Scarlet Witch. Like, look at her, like, ah. So was she calling Blake Lively a witch? Sort of as a nice little subtle call out. There's that witch. What do you think? Is the witch looking good? That's the theory, Jennifer. This one's a little bit more interesting. I mean, yes, it does seem like Ben and Blake got a little frisky, so I could see why that would have sent Jennifer off.
Blake Lively has spent a long time shaping the perfect Hollywood image. She shows up to red carpet events with a flawless smile, gives charming interviews about being a mom, and shares friendly, cheerful photos on social media. Her Instagram is full of kind captions, behind-the-scenes snapshots, and compliments for fellow actresses. She talks about lifting women up and makes it seem like she's everyone's biggest supporter. In a 2018 Vogue interview, she even said she tries to get more screen time for her female co-stars and brings cookies to set to keep things friendly. At the 2019 Women in Film Gala, she gave an emotional speech about promoting women directors and promised to use her platform for good. But some people who've worked with her say the truth is far from that picture-perfect version. One crew member recalls seeing her praise another actress for an amazing scene, only to immediately ask the director to remove it. Others say this kind of behavior wasn't rare. Several former co-stars and production staff describe a pattern where Blake appears sweet in public, but takes quiet steps behind the scenes to keep the spotlight on herself. An actress who worked closely with her says Blake gave her a compliment on her appearance, then told the director she didn't seem emotionally stable enough to film. She now sees a pattern, kind words in front of others, but hidden efforts to push them aside. These actions were subtle but, according to many, very effective. People from her early Gossip Girl days claim she began developing these habits back then. By the third season, some say it was common knowledge not to upset her if you wanted your role to survive editing. Blake's image of being kind, talented, and lucky might actually be the result of precise planning.
Blake will pursue legal action against the publication which initially published these photographs and other outlets that republished them in any manner. Well, they're published right here and they're still there and they've been there for like over 10 years. So she decided not to pursue legal action. Why? Now, again, I'm not shaming her for it. Should Reese have shamed her for it? I don't know. Probably not. But she's right. Don't put your face on him, obviously. But Yeah, it's clearly a jab at her. It seems clearly like a jab. And when you go a little deeper to learn a little bit more about this, there were two celebrities. This was back right as It Ends With Us ended, before the drama, the lawsuits. Apparently, both Reese and Blake were eyeing up to be producers on Taylor Swift's Hollywood debut. The singer was prepping to work on a film this year after the Eras Tour ended, passed in December. And there were two in the battle, Blake and Reese. And so that was the plan. She was gearing up to make her first directorial debut, and she wanted some, A-list producers to help her. Now, it'd be weird to hire either of these two, to be honest. Hire like actual producers, not to get talent producers. But apparently Blake and Reese were in the running. Taylor previously helped Witherspoon with a song for Where the Crawdads Sing, an original song. So clearly they're, friends. They work together, just like she was friends with Blake. Given all that's happened, I don't think Blake's going to get that producing job now. And if she hires Reese, well, then what a little sweet way to really confirm that there is and was a beef and that Reese ultimately won.
An actress who worked with Blake Lively on a well-known romantic comedy shared how Blake would casually suggest small script edits during friendly lunches with the director, edits that, by coincidence, always reduced her own biggest scenes. At first, it seemed harmless. In Hollywood, script changes are normal. Actors often offer input, directors tweak scenes to improve timing, and the goal is usually to make the story stronger. It's supposed to be a group effort. But according to several people who've worked closely with her, Blake used this process in a much more calculated way. A crew member from a 2017 film remembers watching Blake form a close bond with the director. She'd bring him coffee every morning, ask about his family, and slowly build trust. Then, during those casual conversations, she'd bring up scenes she felt didn't quite work, often ones where other actresses had powerful emotional parts. Over time, those scenes would get trimmed or changed. Co-stars started noticing that every time Blake had private talks with the director, someone else's best scene disappeared or got rewritten to focus more on her character. One example comes from a major dramatic scene that was originally written for another actress. After Blake spent a weekend with the director and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, at their home in the Hamptons, the scene was suddenly revised. The emotional highlight was no longer with the original actress. It now belonged to Blake. A script supervisor explained that Blake never came off as pushy. Instead, she'd gently suggest that a moment might land better if her character reacted more strongly, or wonder aloud how viewers would respond. She never openly asked to cut another actor's lines. She just guided the conversation in a direction that benefited her. On another set, Blake convinced a director to remove a dramatic speech from a fellow actress, saying it dragged the third act. That scene was meant to be the actress's big award-worthy moment. She was heartbroken when it vanished. The tension built up. On one project, an actress discovered that 6 of her lines had been given to Blake overnight. When she confronted her, Blake acted surprised, saying she thought the changes were made by the writers and even offered to talk to the director. But, of course, nothing was fixed. Insiders say the reason she pulled it off so well was her ability to make directors feel valued and appreciated. She gave thoughtful gifts, remembered their personal stories, and invited them to dinners with her and Ryan. These gestures made her seem kind and collaborative, not competitive. Directors didn't realize they were being subtly steered into decisions. That helped Blake stand out. And sources say that this wasn't just about lines or screen time. Blake's efforts went beyond the script, right into the technical side of filmmaking, where few actresses even know to look.
Next up, Scarlett Johansson wasn't the only one victim to Blake Lively. Allegedly slept with another married DC star before Ryan Reynolds, and that was Ben Affleck. That's the rumor, that Ben Affleck was the other person that she hooked up with. Now, again, this is all alleged gossip and so on, but there's an image of them on the set of The Town, which Blake Lively starred in. And apparently Ben was very flirty with Blake. So this says Ben knew exactly who he wanted to get frisky with, Blake Lively. Ben handpicked Blake because he thinks she's beautiful. Ben wanted Blake for the role and he pushed for it. Not everyone's happy. Ben's wife of 4 years, Jennifer Garner, feels threatened by Blake. She's truly worried, and she should be. After filming a steamy scene on September 1st, the way too friendly Ben and Blake went out to eat together. People on set are saying he's acting like a lovesick teenager. He just lights up when she's around. He's practically giddy. He's not acting like a married man. So could that have caused some of the problems? potentially after, his Argo Oscar speech. Marriage is hard. It's a lot of work. Could that have been what it was? That sort of recouping and try to recover from this?
An actress who worked with Blake Lively on a major franchise film recalls how Blake would compliment her performance right before a big scene, only to then quietly suggest to the director that they try something different. This kind of behavior wasn't direct or obvious. It was subtle, but it had a powerful effect. According to people who've worked with her, Blake often used carefully timed remarks to create self-doubt in her co-stars. Film sets are already stressful places. Actors have to tap into deep emotions, often after waiting around for hours. It's during these vulnerable moments, insiders say, that Blake would strike. One actress shared that Blake told her she looked stunning during a scene, but then added, "Even with that lighting," just before a major emotional take. That small comment made her think more about how she looked on camera than about delivering her performance. This strategy reportedly repeated itself often. Blake would give just enough praise to sound supportive, then quietly insert a concern. That made the other person second-guess themselves. Another co-star said Blake praised her crying scene, then asked if she was emotionally okay, right before shooting. It left her feeling exposed and insecure. The manipulation didn't stop at face-to-face comments. Crew members said Blake would casually mention to the makeup team or others that a co-star seemed stressed or was struggling with lines, spreading quiet doubts behind the scenes. She kept a public image of being supportive and kind, but in private, some say she created a very different atmosphere. One actress recalled Blake praising her during interviews, only to later learn that Blake had told the director she seemed overwhelmed and suggested turning her key monologue into voiceover, essentially removing her moment to shine. Timing was everything. Blake allegedly brought up changes or gave feedback just before a major emotional scene, knowing it would throw the actress off balance. Even if no changes were made, the damage was already done. Confidence shaken, focus lost. Another tactic involved repeatedly calling for extra takes when another actress gave a strong performance. One crew member said Blake would suddenly have questions about her character just to force more retakes, wearing down her co-star. On one production, a young actress left the industry for 2 years after experiencing this. She arrived confident, but left feeling broken. Sources say Blake's tactics were effective because they were nearly invisible. But the most disturbing claims involve secret audio recordings that allegedly captured Blake's behind-the-scenes strategies. Recordings that have quietly circulated among industry insiders for years.
Margot Robbie, her husband Tom Ackerlund, seriously are competing with Blake and Ryan. This was also around the summer. I'm sure they're not now. I'm sure Margot and Tom are doing much better now than Blake and Ryan, given all the stupid drama they've stepped in. It's becoming painfully clear that you can't be friends with Margot and Tom and also be friends with Ryan and Blake. And it's really forcing a lot of A-listers to pick sides. Margot and Tom spun up their production company, Lucky Chap, with the success of Barbie. And meanwhile, Ryan has been hard at work with his own production company, Maximum Effort, with Deadpool Wolverine, etc., Wrexham, The Gin, we know it all. Blake's been hitting the road with her own tour for It Ends With Us, using the space to market her own line of cosmetics and booze. Nice for these old articles to confirm why she was tone deaf and why we had an issue with her. But I'm sure this was retaliation too, right? These two couples are the most powerful people in the movie business right now. They all love working with their household names and big celebrities. Each side in the rivalry is stacking up an impressive list of allies as they meet head-to-head to see who will seize control of the movie business. So yeah, they're serious competitors. Brick combination, nobody's in the business. Ryan, and he's had Taylor Swift in his corner for more than 8 years. Not anymore. Taylor also holds the proposal star's wife dear. Country tuned up for Taylor's Rhode Island home party, and it was just what she needed. She's really tried to be her best, let it go, and drama get out time. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. I don't think she's going to be going to any Super Bowls anytime soon. I think Blake lost that invite when she decided to play victim, when she in reality was the manipulator. So interesting site. Taylor needs to be more careful and really figure out who her actual friends are. It's not this woman right here. This one was using you. It's proven. It's in the text. That's not me being mean, bullying.
According to one well-known actress, there's a voice recording being shared among people in the film industry where Blake Lively is heard planning how to shrink her character's storyline. While many accusations against Blake rely on personal accounts, some insiders claim there's actual proof. Several professionals in Hollywood say they've listened to a recording from 2018, made during early planning for a romantic film. In it, Blake is heard speaking kindly with a producer, suggesting ways to cut down emotional scenes from the other leading actress. "She sounds so polite. That's the creepy part," says a crew member who listened to the clip. She frames it like she's helping the story, but it clearly benefits her more. In addition to the audio, others point to text messages where Blake supposedly worked with assistant directors to shift filming schedules. These schedule changes seemed harmless, but always ended up working in her favor. For example, she'd asked to shoot her close-ups in the early morning when she looked most rested, while scenes featuring her co-stars' emotional moments were pushed to late evening after long, draining hours. Some insiders claim to have seen emails where Blake subtly raised concerns about another actress's ability to handle emotional scenes. One production coordinator said, "She never outright says the person's unfit. She just phrases it in a way that creates doubt in the director's mind." Though none of this evidence has been made public, many in Hollywood say there's a collection of files known quietly as the Blake file. It allegedly includes texts, emails, and voice recordings showing how she manipulated situations behind the scenes. "No one dares leak it," one source says, "because she's too powerful. Speaking out could ruin your career." A script supervisor from a 2017 film says she kept a journal of everything she observed on set. "Once I started writing it all down, the pattern was obvious. She found ways to make sure no other actress could outshine her." One of the most damaging claims involves a live microphone incident. A sound technician says Blake was unknowingly recorded talking to her assistant about switching an emotional moment from another character to her own during a wedding scene. That moment ended up being cut from the final movie. Even more disturbing is a separate audio clip said to be recorded by accident during a costume fitting. In it, Blake reportedly discussed her strategy to make a co-star's dramatic scene seem fake, so the director would remove it. As this alleged evidence spreads through inner circles, more actresses are said to be getting ready to speak up, challenging the perfect supportive image Blake Lively has built on social media.
Blake, you are not coming this year. Like, there's no way you are coming this year. Or I could see Blake's reps be like, "Blake, you are not going to that." Can you imagine if you wear the wrong handbag and everyone now declares you racist again? We just got you that fake award for all your donations. We cannot risk you on the red carpet doing something like this. So for me, yes, rumored, except we can't prove it, but I would be shocked if people around her orbit didn't demand that she make sure she not attend this year.
See, the thing is, I'm not sure about that though, because like the person, what was it, the head of Time at the gala on the red carpet said that she was having the best year. She was having a great year. So what's the problem? Well, if everything's great.
I hear your sarcasm, and thank you for proving my point, because such an ally to the races, you'd think perfect opportunity for her to show up and support Black dandyism, as if she knows what that is.
No matter what she did, she was not going to win, and there's valid points on both sides. That kind of is where I'm sitting with this.
All I know is I would not put it past Blake to make some plantation blueberries and think it was a love letter to the South. She's that out of touch, and yes, she's done it. She's done it. And now she's out there like, "Oh, I'm learning so much, and thank you, Time, blah, blah, blah." Oh, cram it.
These claims suggest something very different from the cheerful, friendly image Blake Lively shows the world. As more well-known actresses speak out, a troubling pattern starts to emerge, one that doesn't match the kind, supportive person she appears to be in interviews or on social media. What's even more upsetting is that the industry itself may be encouraging this behavior. If even part of these accusations are accurate, it raises serious questions about how Blake built her success. For years, Blake has been praised for being a team player and for uplifting the women around her. But behind the scenes, insiders say her actions tell a different story, one filled with quiet manipulation, clever strategies, and behind-the-scenes moves that always seem to give her an advantage. Now, more people who've worked with her are reportedly preparing to speak out, ready to share their own encounters with what they claim is a repeated pattern of control and quiet sabotage. In a business that thrives on appearances, it's hard not to wonder how many stars are hiding similar truths behind their polished online images and red carpet charm. These new accounts could completely change how people see one of Hollywood's most beloved leading ladies. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments.